The water is wrong. He crouches at the edge of the blue. The Old One, his knuckles pressed into the cracking mud. For a lifetime, this lagoon has been the clan's heart. It has given them water, fish trapped in the reeds, and the cool mud that soothes insect bites. But now, it offers only betrayal. He dips his fingers, brings them to his lips, soaked. The ghost of the great, devouring ocean has found its way here. A poison seeping up through the bedrock of their world. Behind him, the clan of 12 is quiet. It is a silence of fear. This is prehistoric life, not as a grand struggle against beasts, but as a slow, bewildering decay of all that is known. A young female, her infant clinging to the coarse hair on her back, tries to coax the small one to drink. The infant turns its head away, whimpering, its primate face wrinkled in distaste. It knows. Every living thing here knows. The birds that once feasted on the fish have long since fled. The broad minor-leafed plants at the water's margin are yellow and brittle. This small pocket of life, a sanctuary for countless generations of human ancestors, is dying. The slow catastrophe of this late Miocene epoch is not a thunderclap. It is a creeping, saline stain, rewriting the rules of survival. Life million years ago was a constant negotiation with an earth in flux. But this feels different. It feels final. The Old One rises. He is not a giant, but his presence is a gravitational center for the small band. His gait is a mix of old and new, a knuckle minus walk for stability, but then he straightens, his spine curving into a posture of watchfulness from the slight rise of a termite mound. He can see over the low scrub. It is a fleeting, momentous advantage offered by vital locomotion, a chance to see beyond the immediate. What he sees offers no comfort. Their small, wooded oasis is an island, and the sea surrounding it is a shimmering, hostile expanse of sun-scorched savanna, a landscape of predators and thirst, a place they have always avoided. His gaze is a tool, a function of a brain beginning to grapple with the future. A core tenet of human evolution. He is not just seeing what is, he is calculating what must be. They are a clade of hominids bound by instinct and a trust that has no words. A younger male, ambitious and strong, watches the Old One. His own anxiety a low growl in his chest. Does he challenge? Does he offer a different path? But there is no other path. There is only the dying blue behind them and the world of yellow grass ahead. The dilemma is absolute, a foundational moment in hominid history. To stay is to wither and die with their home. To leave is to walk into a world for which they have no map, no memory. The choice is unspoken, but it hangs in the oppressive air, heavier than the heat stay and become fossilized regrets in the mud. Or walk into the blinding glare of an unknowable horizon. As the sun bleeds across the sky, the Old One turns from the savannah and looks at his clan. His expression is grim. It is the face of a decision made. The march begins. There is no ceremony, only the shuffling of feet on baked earth. The dead lagoon shrinks behind them, a memory already turning to myth. The sun is a physical weight, a hammer that falls without sound. This is a new classroom for survival skills, and the lessons are brutal. Within hours, the easy familiarity of their woodland home as a ghost. Here, on the savannah, every direction is the same, an endless ocean of yellow grass, punctuated by the skeletal shapes of acacia trees. The clan, this fragile clade of early humans, moves in a tight cluster, a single, multi-simmed creature driven by a shared, silent panic. The young cling to their mothers, their dark eyes wide, while the males scan the horizon, their senses stretched taut. Thirst arrives first as a rasp in the throat, then a fire in the belly. The small water gourds they carry, fashioned from hollowed fruit, are emptied with a discipline born of fear. The Old One rations the sips, his authority unquestioned in this desperate moment. But it is not enough. The infant, the same one who refused the salt water, begins a low, continuous wail. Its mother, her own lips cracking, tries to offer her breast. But she has little to give. It is here,
This
in the
raft
furnace
is
of the
more than a
open
tool.
plain,
It is
that
a
the
leap
clan's
in the story
unspoken
of
contract
human
is tested. They stop in the pathetic shade of a withered bush. The young, ambitious male, the one who watched the old one with restless eyes, now sets to a desperate task. He finds the sun-minus bleached femur of a great antelope, its heft a comforting weight in his hand. Using the broken end, he begins to dig furiously at the base of a desiccated minus-looking plant, his knuckles scraping against the hard soil. This is the dawn of primitive technology, a raw expression of the osteodontocratic principle using bone and tooth to master a world not made for them. He unearths a cluster of pale, swollen tubers. He breaks one open with a stone, revealing a fibrous, watery pill, before he can lift it to his own mouth. The old one gestures with a slight inclination of his head toward the mother and child. There is no debate. The male passes the life-minus saving morsel to her. She crushes it with her fingers, letting the precious moisture drip into the infant's mouth. This is the calculus of their existence, an act of pure altruism that defies the logic of individual survival. They are not merely a collection of individuals, they are a future. And that future is small, weak, and crying for water as they share the meager find. A new scent drifts on the hot wind. It is the smell of a predator, the musky signature of one of the great cats that hunt these plains. A flicker of movement in the tall grass, 100 paces away confirms it. A beast of immense power, a tiny shadow of rippling muscle, is stalking them. The fear is instantaneous and absolute, a jolt of cold terror in the heat. There can be no rest. They must move. The march is no longer just a journey. It is a retreat. They are not conquerors of this new world. They are prey. They are hunted and haunted, a sliver of life adrift on a sea of grass. But then, a change. The horizon ceases to be a flat line and buckles upward into a spine of dark rock, an escarpment weeping green stains of moss and vegetation. And with it comes a sound they have almost forgotten, the murmur of water. It is an oasis. Come, a dangerous and unfamiliar feeling sparks in the exhausted clan. They find a source, a spring trickling from a fissure into a deep, clear pool. As they drink, the water washes away the dust and some of the fear, but not all. Shelter is now the most urgent need, and they see it a shadow in the rock face. A wide, dark opening, a cave. It is a perfect fortress, but it is not empty. The entrance is littered with the splintered bones of antelope and boar, the grim leavings of a powerful hunter. The scent from within is thick with the musk of a predator, a warning etched into the air. This discovery, a potential discovery for a future archaeology, is a death sentence in the present. As dusk bleeds into the sky, the cave's occupant makes itself known. Pale low, guttural growl echoes from the darkness, the sound of immense, coiled power. The clown scrambles back, their brief hope curdling back into terror. They are caught. Behind them is the savannah, a killing ground now cloaked in the hunting minus dark. Before them is a lair. This is the unwritten history of ancient humans, a relentless series of existential traps. The young male he FDS a heavy branch, his knuckles white. His instinct is for confrontation, a direct and likely fatal assault. But the old one places a hand on his arm, a gesture of restraint that is also a command. He has been watching, not the cave's mouth, but the rock face above it. He has seen a wisp of his own breath mist and swirl near a smaller, higher crevice. He has seen a loose pebble, dislodged by a climbing lizard, fall and disappear into it. The cave has to melt. In this observation lies the seed of a plan, a leap of intellect that separates them from the beast within. Their survival will not depend on fang and claw, but on the coordinated use of ancient tools and a shared understanding. This is the core of their evolving humanity, the thing that will allow them to inherit the earth. The choice is made without a single word. They gather what is needed on finesse of damp grasses, clusters of wet leaves. The clan divides. The mothers and young retreat to the far side of the pool, a silent audience to the unfolding drama of prehistory. The Old One and two other males approach the main entrance, striking stones together, shouting challenges into the dark, a deliberate, noisy distraction. Meanwhile, the strong younger male, agile and fearless, begins to climb the rock face. He carries a smoldering branch, a captive flame nursed from the embers of a lightning-struck tree they passed days ago. Reaching the upper fissure, he drops the damp vegetation inside, followed by the glowing branch. The effect is almost immediate. Acrid smoke, thick and choking, begins to pour from the main entrance. From within come sounds of confusion, then panicked rage. A moment later, one of the great prehistoric animals, a saber-toothed cat, bursts from the cave, not charging, but fleeing. Its eyes stream, its magnificent head shaking as it gasps for clean air. It gives the hooting hominids a bewildered, furious glance and bolts into the night. They do not pursue. They have not conquered the beast. They have merely evicted it, claiming their home not through dominance, but through cunning. As they watch it disappear, the Old One looks up at the sky, his head held high, the unique positioning of his foramen magnum allowing a gaze that is fixed firmly on the horizon. The smoke clears. Inside the cave, the air is stale with the lingering ghosts of fear and fire. But it is their air now. The fire they build is small, a flickering heart in the belly of the rock. This is more than a victory. It is a turning point, a single, brilliant data point in the vast, unrecorded story of human evolution. The chronicle of this clan is a microcosm of a grander epic, an evolution documentary written in bone and stone. They survived not because they were the strongest, but because they learned to pool their intelligence, to suppress individual instinct for the sake of a collective strategy. This cave, with its smoky ceiling and scattered bones, is the birthplace of an idea that the world can be reshaped by foresight and cooperation. The tools they used were not just the branch in the flame, but trust, observation, and the abstract thought required to link a small fissure to the eviction of a monster. This event, lost to the deep time of ancient Earth, is a blueprint. Every human community, every city, every collaborative effort to overcome a force greater than ourselves has its genetic memory rooted here, in the desperate ingenuity of these few, frightened human ancestors. We're part of that ancient, fire-lit mind still calculates within us, weighing the risks of the cave against the terrors of the open plain. In the silence between one breath and the next, an entire world is born and dies. We are here only to watch the tide mark the shore. And in the deepest parts of the forest, the trees have begun to learn the scent of a new kind of fear.